Representative David Cicilline of Rhode Island, who is the author of the Global Respect Act. We thank him for that contribution. He's now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Meeks and Ranking Member McCall for calling this historic hearing. And I really want to thank you, in particular, Chairman Meeks, for your extraordinary leadership. Thank you to the witness on this panel and to the other witnesses we'll hear from. As the Biden administration and many members of this committee work to again center human rights as pillars of American foreign policy, this hearing affords us the opportunity to resolutely declare that the United States is prepared to lead the global effort for equality and human rights. Through hearings and legislation like the Global Respect Act and the GLOBE Act, we can raise awareness of the struggles so many face down every day, and we can put an end to the hate and persecution of millions because of who they love or how they identify. In Hungary and Poland, illiberal reactionary governments scapegoat LGBTQI persons to distract from their own failed policy, making hate a broadly accepted feature of society. In parts of Russia, LGBTQI persons are tortured or disappear, only for authorities to look the other way. In Iran, LGBTQI plus persons have been murdered for who they are, and the perpetrators are left unpunished. And without a concerted effort by the United States and its partners and allies, we risk not only more LGBTQI lives lost, but also risk exacerbating the decline of democracy worldwide. And so that's why this hearing is so important and why the leadership of you, Chairman Meeks, is so critical. And so my question, Mr. Busby, is first, how would you do the enforcement of sanctions against those that commit or advocate for violence or persecution against LGBTQ plus persons help advance the goals set forth in President Biden's memorandum of February 2021, for which I and the entire community is incredibly grateful?
Well, thank you for the question, Representative Cicilline, and thank you for your leadership on these issues over the years. We really appreciate it. We do think sanctions are one tool, one important tool that can be used to hold accountable individuals who commit abuses against LGBTQI plus persons, but it's not the only tool. It is powerful, it can have a deterrent effect, but in some situations, the activists on the ground are not looking for us to take that sort of action for fear that it could target them. So in any case, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. We really look to our colleagues on the ground, the activists in countries where there are such abuses taking place. We look to them, their analysis and recommendations on how best to address a particular set of abuses. And if they think sanctions would be appropriate, we try to pursue them.
Thank you. And would you speak to how the State Department is ensuring that refugees and asylum seekers are able to access assistance and protection? Because we know, and we have seen so many stories of LGBTQI refugees and asylum seekers who are really put at risk by being housed in countries that are hostile to our community and don't offer sufficient protection. And the second question I'll ask as part of that is, when does the Biden administration intend to appoint a new special envoy for the human rights of LGBTI persons? Two important but unrelated questions.
Thank you for the questions, Congressman. On asylum seekers and refugees, as I mentioned, President Biden's memorandum specifically urges consideration of use of something called the Priority 1 referral category. This allows our embassies to specifically refer individuals to our refugee resettlement program. And so the memorandum encourages our embassies to use this authority to provide protection to LGBTQI plus persons. On appointment of a special envoy, I can't say more other than I think it will be very soon.
Thank you very much. And in the last few seconds that I have, Mr. Busby, you know, Hungary's parliament has recently passed anti-LGBTQI legislation under the auspices of Prime Minister Orban ahead of the upcoming elections. Is this an example in which the State Department and related agencies could pursue an appropriate response as referenced or directed in the President's memorandum in February 2021?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. Yes, we're very concerned by the law passed in Hungary. We think it raises concerns about freedom of expression restrictions, which have no place in democratic societies. It also stigmatizes a segment of society by creating false associations with heinous crimes. We have called out our concerns about this law, both from our embassy in Hungary as well as from here in Washington, and we will continue to do so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you. The gentleman's time has expired. I now recognize Representative Young Kim of California, who is the vice-ranking member of the Subcommittee on Asia, the Pacific, Central Asia, and Nonproliferation for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman.